Good morning. I believe we're live now. Good morning. Yep, we are. Hope you're all doing well. And I just want to say you'll have to pardon my voice today. I've got a sore throat. So, hi, Deanna. So, if I sound extra froggy this morning, that's why. I'm drinking a lot of ice water. I don't know why I have a sore throat, but I do. So, tea and water, ice water seems to help. But anyway, so I'm excited about today because we're going to be doing some embroidery and continuing on in our fiber art book. Um, as you know, this is where we were at, and this is where we finished off last week. So this embroidery piece is for this page over here. So that's where that's going. And I did this page on Amy Love's live, which was last Tuesday right after my live. And I made these yo-yos, excuse me, on her live. And I sewed them in the book. And it's just got some lace in the background. And then yesterday I worked on this. This was a snippet heart tag I made. Hi, Amy. This was a snippet heart tag I made. And I added some fibers behind it. And I just kind of tore up some gold ribbon, and I was sort of making larger French knot type things over here in the corner. So we're going to finish this page today as well. But I want to work on the embroidery that's going to go on this page, which is where this comes in. And I did start it so I could get it done. But there's a lot still to do on here. But I wanted to show you all the different stitches. So these are the three colors that I'll be using, in case anybody's following along. The green is DMC 904. The gray is 3753 DMC, and the purple, oh, there is a number. I couldn't see that earlier. 3041. That's really faded. So those are the numbers of the floss I'm using. And this is just a piece of fabric from my stash. You can do anything, embroider on anything. So this is like, it's a stiffer fabric, which I think is better for embroidery. It's kind of like a polyester, I think. I don't know. It was a curtain, so it looks like this. And it's kind of stiff, but it's shiny. And I kind of like that look. So that's what I'm using. So how are you guys this morning? So I hope you'll try some of these stitches. These are like really three very basic stitches. So it's good for a beginner. And we're doing like a stalk of lavender. That's what it's going to be, to go in the book. And then once I have it done, I'll trim it down so it can go in this area over here. And then we'll sew it in the book, because I thought that would look really, really pretty right there. So we'll cut it down after we're done embroidering it. Embroidering, that's a word. So I just left my strings long that I'd already started, so I can just go back in and thread my needle and continue on while I'm showing you guys the stitches. Oh, what are you making, Amy? Do tell. Do tell, do tell. Amy's always cooking up something yummy and delicious, and it always makes me hungry. Okay, so I will start. So right now I'm doing the leaves, and this is probably the easiest stitch. Well, they're all easy, but this one's really super easy. So all I did was I just took like a black pencil crayon And I just simply drew a line and some leaves and then just little loops for the top of the lavender. So if you can't draw, it's pretty simple to do. A line, a leaf, and little loops. That's it. And also pencil will eventually erase, so you won't see it, which is good. Roasting beets and butternut squash. Oh my gosh, yum. So we're going to work on the leaves here, and this is just a stitch, a big stitch, just varying the sizes of your stitches to make it kind of pointed at the top, and then kind of, going up, making a V basically. So how I do it is I start, I don't know if you can see the gray, it's pretty light, but that's the stem. So I start at the stem and I kind of want to make a V. So I'm going to like angle my thread out to one side, and we're just going to come up a little bit, go in the fabric, and then back down right directly beside where we started. Right directly, if I can get it in there. There we go. And you can see that that's angled out a bit. Now we're going to go the other direction and angle it out that way. And then we're going to come in the middle of those two stitches. Let me angle that out a bit more. I kind of want it over this way. So we're going to go over here. About the same length, but it does not have to be perfect. So yeah, now we're going to go in between those two stitches. Come on. And there you can see we've got a V. So now we're going to come up the center of that. And this is going to be our long stitch. So we're going to go to where we want the top of the leaf to be, which is up here. And then we're going to come down in between that stitch and the one on the left. So now we've got this. And we're going to go in between those two stitches, but because we just did our longest stitch, we're going to make this stitch shorter. And then we're going to come down and go on the other side in between those two stitches. And basically all you're doing now is filling in the leaf with smaller stitches. So we want to, and you want to keep your stitches angled so you get a nice, shape on your leaf. So you basically go down and then in between that stitch and your last one. And that's it. And you just fill in, and it, again, it does not have to be perfect. You just keep going until you get it done. And you don't want to pull your stitches too tight. This would probably be better if you had an embroidery hoop, but I don't have one handy, so we're just stitching. We're just a-stitching. And as you get closer to the top, your stitches will get smaller and smaller. So this one will be smaller. And then we'll go over here. And yeah, you're just filling in. And I feel like I just want to have another stitch over here just to shape my leaf a bit better. Just maybe one over this way. A little smaller than that one. So there you go. There's my leaf. It's pretty simple. Well, sometimes I do have a knotted mess. You just have to kind of go slow. but you're basically in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's not too bad. And then when you're done that, you just go on the other side, which I'm going to be out of thread soon, which is okay. But so we'll get this other leaf done over here. And again, it's the same thing. You're just making a V. You know, you're making a V, and then you're going in between the V, and then in between the V and in between the V until you get to the top. You make one stitch. And then you just go back and fill in. Because it doesn't really matter if your back is a mess. Right? Let me unhook this gray thread here from the green. Oh, how did I do that? Oh my goodness. Okay, that's just gonna be in there. Okay, well, there it is. All right, so we're over on this side now. So again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make a V about halfway up. Come back down to where we just were. Come up and then make a V on the other side. And angle your stitch out. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And then you want to go in between those two. And try not to pull your thread out of your needle. But I'm going to have to change it, I think. And now I'll make my long stitch as tall as I want my leaf to be. And then I will knot it at the back. See? I mean, you could even just do 3 stitches, because just like do it sort of naively like that and just give the shape of the leaf like that if you wanted to. I'm just filling it in because I like the way it looks, but you don't have to do that. So it's pretty straightforward. All right, so let me tie a knot here. And we snip. Okay, so let me get the other part of that green thread here. Normally I wouldn't have these long things here, but I only did so many stitches so I could go back and thread my needle and finish this off. But normally I wouldn't have these big long strings hanging off of here. Hey Joanne, how are you? We're working on some embroidery today. You wouldn't have a knotted mess. I think you'd be okay with it because it's pretty simple. And Amy, you're sewing like every day. I think you could do it. And did you guys see Amy's snippet roll video this morning? It's amazing. She has a video up on her channel. If you haven't seen it, go have a look. So I don't know if anybody knows how to knot a thread, but this is how I do it. I take my finger here and I just wrap it around 3 times. And then with my thumb, I just kind of roll it like that and then roll it off my finger and pull, and you have a really good knot. All right, so getting this thread out of the way, we're going to go back in now, in between this thread and this thread, and then we'll come over here and go in between this thread and this thread. And because this one in the middle is our longest, we don't want our stitches to be any longer than that. So when we go in between, we're going to go probably a little shorter than the ones on the outside, so somewhere in between. And it just gives that sort of leaf shape. So let me just get in here, making sure I'm not getting any of this in the way. So yeah, see, you're just going to kind of go in between a little shorter than the outside one, and then we're going to come over on this side in between the tallest and the one on the left side. And we're going to go this way. And then we're going to look at it and see what we've got. So it's starting to fill out, but I can see that this side's got some space. And I don't really care for how that looks. So I'm just going to go again in between those. And I'm probably going to come up a little bit higher this time. And just kind of cross over this way. And then go there. It's all just kind of how you feel when you're doing it, honestly. And then we're going to come back over this way. As long as you're doing sort of a leaf shape, like I said, it does not have to be perfect. And honestly, the less perfect it is, the better. Kind of want to go here. The stitches don't have to be even. They don't have to be anything. They just have to kind of, it's as long as you sort of have that leaf shape, it's all good. See? Now your bottom leaves should be your bigger ones, and as the higher up you get on the stalk, the smaller they should be. Just, you know, because that's the way it is in nature. And I caught my thread on my scissors because I'm a hot mess. Ah, it's a beautiful snippet roll. It's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so now we've got 2 more leaves to do, and these are going to be smaller ones, and then we're done the leaves. Then we're going to finish the stem, and then we'll do the last few little chain stitch or daisy stitch, whatever you want to call it. And of course I've tangled my thread because that's how I do. Okay. All right, so we're going to come over on the other side now, over here. And this is going to be a smaller leaf. So I think I might do my middle, the highest leaf first on this one. And then we'll do the V. Angle your stitch out. But this is going to be a lot smaller. And you just want to kind of keep your stitches close together. Oh, I pulled my needle off. Great, I have to rethread it. Yay. That's my favorite thing to do, is thread a needle. And I hope you're all following along with Roseanne's fiber art book, because that's where I got my inspiration from. But I've always loved stitching and sewing anyway. Now we're going to come over here. And we're just going to do a little stitch there. And I think that's going to be it for that leaf, because I wanted it a lot smaller. And then this one will be offset a bit and up higher. So now we're going to come over here on this side. And then we'll do our tallest one. longest stitch, and then the 2V. And you want to, at the bottom, keep your stitches fairly close together because that's what gives you the nice angle for the leaf. I hope that's all making sense for you guys. And I hope it's not too difficult to see. But you can see it's starting to take shape and look like some lavender. Go over in here and then over here in between those two stitches. Yeah, this one's going to be small, which is what I wanted. Okay. Now, see, I feel like I need another one over there because I kind of covered that stitch up. It needs another little one over here. No rules for this, which is my kind of crafting. Yeah. So there we go. And you can see that the leaves have gotten smaller as we've gone up the stem, which is what you want. So that's basically how you do the leaves. So I hope that that makes sense. I mean, they're not perfect. It's just kind of, you know, very naive stitching. Okay, so let's, oh my goodness, what a mess I've made here. Probably would have been better off to just make a knot and cut this, which is probably what I should do. Let's do that. I should never do that. See, talk about a knotted mess, you guys. Let's try and get this out of here. Okay, there's the purple. That made its own knot. There we go. Okay. Probably should have left that a little longer so my big fat fingers could tie a knot. Okay. So there's where we're at. So next we're going to do the gray so we can finish the stem, which won't take much. Hi, Wonka. How are you? So basically the stem is just a back stitch, which is super easy to do. And I did start here. So we're just going to come up beside or in between that last gray stitch. And then I like to hold my work this way, and I hold the thread with my thumb, and then you kind of just go in and back out again. And pull it. You don't want your stitches super long for this. It's basically just a back stitch, so it's pretty simple. And then you're going to go right up to the top where your lavender ends. And then we can finish doing our little lavender pieces. Try not to pull it too tight because you don't want your work to buckle, especially since I'm not using an embroidery hoop. So in, hold your thread with your thumb, back up again, and just pull it through. Keeping your line fairly straight. In, back up. Really simple. But you get a nice kind of texture as well doing a back stitch. So now that I'm at the top of this, I'm going to want my stem to curl just very slightly because lavender's not perfectly straight. So we're going to kind of just come over a little bit this way, not too much. Till we get to the top here. And my stitches are getting a little smaller at the top. Okay, that's probably going to be my last stitch. And then back down. And then we're going to tie a knot. Okay. And now we're back to the purple to finish the top of that. You can see my stem just slightly went over to the side, just a little bit. I love watermelon too. I love tomatoes too. Tomatoes are one of my favorite things to eat. Just some salt on them. Yum. Okay. So now we're going to do what's called the lazy daisy stitch or the chain stitch. My grandma called it the chain stitch, but I think it's supposed to be called the lazy daisy stitch, but it's super easy to do, and you can call it whatever you want. So now we're just going to go right beside the stem, come up through the back, and we're going to make a bit of a loop like this. And then you're going to go back in right as close as you can get to that stitch. And then you're going to come up in the middle of that up here like that. So you've basically got your thread behind the needle so that when you come up and go through that, it makes a loop. Like that. That might have been slightly too long, but that's okay. Then you're going to go and take just the tiniest little stitch on the other side of the loop, and that locks your little loop in place. You want to just come down on the right on the other side of that, not too far away. And then that kind of just locks your little loop there, which that's not the greatest loop, but there we are. So now I'm going to do a smaller one because that one was too big, but that's okay. So basically make a loop, come back down right beside where you came up, come up through, just take a little bit of fabric, come up that way, pull your stitch through, and then a tiny stitch on the other side. And for lavender, you do like 3 of these. So we'll do one on this side. How do I want that? I think I want it that way. Try and get as close as you can to your stitch, and then you come up. And then you've got your little lavender bits at the top. So you can see it really does look like lavender. Well, kind of. Oh, I love wild berries. We have the best wild strawberries here in Ontario. They're so good. But yeah, the bears get them. We used to go picking them the beginning of summer with my kids. So this one, I think we want to go this way. Do I want it that way? No, I want it this way. This one we're going to do a little smaller. Loop. Down and then up. It's pretty simple. Yeah, I didn't know this was called the Lazy Daisy stitch till I watched a video. And then I'm like, oh, I always called that the chain stitch because that's what my grandmother called it. Actually, I want one. Where do I want one? I guess here would be okay. No, I don't want one there. I want one here. Right there. We'll just do a small one right there, because we're getting towards the top. Okay, I think this will be our last set of 3. And I think I want to have it right here, kind of going upwards. Yeah, there's a lot of wildlife that eat ours too. Okay. Gonna do one here. And again, once you get close to the top of whatever flower you're doing, you want your stitches to be smaller. And then this one can go in between those two. And then, do I want one over there? Yes, I do. Because my stem kind of curves over that way, so we're just going to put a set of 3 over here as well. And then we're done, guys, which is awesome. I mean, I could just keep going and going and going because I love it. I love doing embroidery. Let's do it that way. See, now I feel like I need one in the middle of that. Oh dear, right here. Maybe just one. Yeah. Okay. So there it is. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's fun and easy. Okay, so let me just tie a knot here. And then we'll trim it down for our book. And then we can sew it in our book. So I hope you'll give some of those stitches a try. And as we're going along, I'll show you other stitches as well. Because this hull has to be embroidered here. And I want to do some embroidery on her. So one week I'll just be going through and doing some embroidery bits. So now I want to cut this. I kind of want to, I'm thinking like this. I might fray the edges because I think that would look cool. So you can use any kind of material. Like I said, it might be better if you use a embroidery hoop, but you don't have to, like I just showed you, if you don't have one. Well, the sides don't want to fray, but the top and bottom do. So anyway. So that's going to go right there, and I'm excited. What? I did it freehand, Joanne. Just catching up on chat. Thanks, Joanne. Okay, so we're just going to use our white thread now to sew that in the book. But something very simple like a stalk of lavender, and you could make it even bigger. You could do like 3 or 4 pieces. You can see it didn't take me that long to do that, even though I had started it beforehand. But that took me less than an hour to do that. But it probably would have been faster if I wasn't on camera. You know, because you're showing people things. But let's sew this in. Oh, I hate hunters, but anyway, we won't get on that topic. Everybody has a different view of that. All right. So you want to make sure you're not going through your other side of your book, but because there's so many layers here now, I mean, this came out a bit bigger than I wanted it to, but that's okay. It don't matter. I just want that offset because I don't want to really cover up even though it's going to cover up some of it, the bridle applique. Just want to trim that thread there. Oh, dear. There. Okay. So we'll start underneath and move my pages so I don't sew pages together, because yeah, I've done that. Okay. So basically I'm just going to do like a in and out stitch, because I don't want it to look, you know, super fancy or anything. I think it will look totally fine just being a very naive stitch. Just try and make sure my stitches are sort of even. But again, they don't have to be perfect. And you could even write the word lavender and then do the back stitch, which I might do actually. Write the word lavender and then back stitch the whole thing. You could do that. Come on, thread. You could make up a bunch of these, make bookmarks with them, make little snippet embellishments with them. You know, who doesn't love getting something handmade, right? So I'm trying not to go through all the layers because that makes it a lot thicker and harder to sew. I'm just trying to kind of catch the layer underneath. Sorry if I'm missing the chat. What's the difference between a back stitch and a fouled stitch? I have no idea. What's a fouled stitch? I just call it a back stitch. So if it's the same, then that's what it is. I don't really know the names of all the stitches. I only know what I was told when I was a kid. I haven't investigated anything. Oh, a forward stitch. Well, I would call what I'm doing now a forward stitch, the in and out. Whereas a back stitch, you're working backwards. Do you know what I mean? Like you're going in and coming back out and going beside the last stitch. Whereas this is more going forward. I don't know what this stitch is called even. I usually call it the in and out stitch. Gathering stitch, maybe this one's called. This was nice material to embroider on too, from this old curtain. I might do some French knots over here, actually. I love making French knots. I think that's probably my favorite stitch. Okay, well, you know what, Amy, when we're on chat next, I'll see if I can show it to you more close up. Okay, we're almost there. I like the way it's just very naively stitched too. Okay. And again, you don't want your stitches super tight because that will make this piece that you're sewing in kind of bunch up. So you don't want them super tight, like firm but not tight, if that makes any kind of sense. I hope I have enough thread to finish this off. Do not go through, Kim. Maybe I might make it. We'll see. I'm gonna make it. Come on, get in there. Okay, there we go. No, why? Why would it mess up on the very last stitch? Did I catch that on something? Yes, I did. Okay, that's what the problem is. There we go. All right. So now we're just going to try and do a really tiny little knot in the corner here. Get under there. And then cut it as close as we can. There we go. Well, it's not super straight, but hey, there it is. It's a little off kilter, but hey, it's handmade. What can you do, right? All right, so I think I'm going to do maybe a few French knots over here. How much thread do I have handy here? I've got some purple. Let's do some purple. Just to bring the color into the page. Okay, so let's go over. Can I get under that? Yes, I can. There's some little flowers here in the lace, so maybe a little knot in the center or sort of close to the center would be cute. Oh, and these are French knots. So basically you start at the bottom, pull your thread through, hold your other thread in your other hand, and then you take your needle and you wind it around 1, 2. Now I was always told 3 times, but if you want a bigger French knot, 4, 5, 6, 7 you could do. And then you go back down through again. Now I can't go all the way through, so that'll be a problem. So we're just going to kind of catch the fabric underneath. I hope I'm not going through. And we're going to come up over here. And then when you pull, it makes a knot. Like that. And that's a French knot. then we'll do it again. Wrap it around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to go back down through and then catch the fabric and come up somewhere over here. And pull it gently and slowly, because sometimes you can make a bit of a mess, especially if you're doing bigger knots like I'm doing. Which I think I'm going to take my glasses off for a few minutes while I'm doing this. I can see a little better without them for close-up stuff. Okay, so we got one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going down, and then we're going to come up over here, close to the center of this one, like that. And you can see it just kind of brings the color over to the page. And it just adds this really cool texture. Okay, where do I want to go next? In here. Maybe there. Uh-oh. My needle came off. Of course. What time is it? Oh, we've been on for an hour. My goodness. Get in there. There we go. Let's try that again. Probably can do one more before I have to change my thread. Okay. Let's go under here and then back up again. And then I want to try and get underneath this lace so I can tie a knot that nobody sees. But if you see it, you see it, right? Okay, there we go. You kind of can't really see that. Okay. Now we're going to tuck that underneath. So you can see it's going to look really pretty if I add some, I might even do some green, maybe over here, or over here. Just some green French knots might be nice, just because it'll pick up all the colors. It's a purple, it's this color, and I can give you the number. It's a DMC 3041. And the green is DMC 904. And the gray is DMC 3753. In case you want to do that yourself. But you could use any colors that are, you know, similar. Whatever you can get that's available. Okay, we're going to do a few green ones and then we'll probably call it, because I have got, first of all, I need to trim that. I have got a million things I got to get done this afternoon. And we put a bunch of new stuff in the store yesterday. Beautiful linen bundles, some sari grab bags, some fabric snippet grab bags, and hand-dyed seam binding. And there's going to be more coming in the next couple of days. Okay, so let's do a few green ones over here in the corner. I don't think I'll get too many with this thread because I don't have a long piece of thread left over. I'm just trying to use up this thread. I didn't go through, did I? No. Yay, I didn't go through. Yeah, the green looks nice. I like it. Whoops. Oh, gosh. Let's trim that. This will be the last knot, I think. Because it's very short. My goodness. If I can get the needle threaded. Isn't that the worst part, threading the needle? Yeah, that's not even, so it might help. There we go. Finally. Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're just going to probably call it there. My needle came out again. So the thread is too short. So I'll just make a knot. And we will call it here. Sometimes you got to know when to fold them, right? There we go. And we'll hide that knot. Maybe I'll put another piece of fabric there or something. But that is what we did today. I'm really happy with it. And we're going to continue on doing embroidery on our pages, you know, each week. And we'll do other pages. But we're getting there. I know I'm doing a little bit off camera, but I have so many pages still to do. you know, there's like still all of these pages still to do. And the back, because I haven't finished the back. And I want to do more embroidery on the front. So that's where we're at right now. And all of this needs to be embroidered on. That's my plan for these, is to do embroidery on the doilies. And I want to do her dress. And I want to do some on her. So yeah, there's still tons to do in this book. So it'll be something different each week. It may not be a full page. It may be just what we did today, like the embroidery. It may, last week on Amy's, I made yo-yos, which I didn't do on this channel. So I may make a couple more yo-yos for this book. But if I give this book to somebody, they can even just snip these out and use them, you know, if they wanted to. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to the book after I'm done. I may keep it. I may sell it. I may gift it. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I love this fabric that I embroidered on. That was really nice. So try and find yourself something that's pretty stiff, like this. You can see it's a pretty stiff fabric, and I have no idea what kind of fabric it is. It's, I don't know, maybe a rayon polyester blend, but it's not floppy like rayon and polyester usually are. So yeah, but it was a curtain. So see what you can find yourself in your stash and use that. But I'm happy with how that turned out. Hi, Cindy. How are you? That's okay. Yes, you did participate in the doily book challenge. You did. And your work is beautiful. It'd be fun to do the doily book challenge again. I know I keep saying I'm going to do it and I never get it together, but it would be fun. So thanks for stopping in, Cindy. It's nice to see you. So I'm going to call this now. I'm sorry, Cindy. I know you just came in. Yeah, we're just finishing it up, unfortunately. But you can go back and watch the replay. We did this today, and I showed the stitches. And I'm not an expert embroiderer by any means. You know, I just like having fun, but, you know, it looks like some lavender. I mean, maybe next time I'll do a lighter green instead of a gray, but lavender is kind of gray on the stem. So that's why I went that route. But it doesn't really show unless you can see it really close. And I like that you can see the white stitches around it. And I'm just going to continue on doing some French knots all kind of over the place on that page. Well, it's good to see you anyway, Cindy. And Cindy has a great channel, guys, so please go over and sub to her and check her out. I am live at 11:30 Eastern every Tuesday, Cindy, so maybe you can catch us one week at the start. But yeah, the replay will be there shortly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is close. It's almost a silvery gray. And I did say the numbers for the threads a couple times on the live, if anybody's wanting them, that I used. So, and I will try and do that with all the embroidery. I'll let you know the numbers if I can. Some of them I have written down on my, this is where I keep my floss, and a lot of them are written down, but there might be the odd one that I didn't, because yeah. But anyway, I try to keep them in some semblance of order, but I don't think they are over the years. They've just kind of gotten like sort of put with colors. Oh, there's the purple would go there, and the green. Where does the green go? Back here, probably. This is all green. First of all, these ones should not be back here. All right, well, I'll sit and sort this out. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. And I will be back next Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Deanna. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I will see you all next Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody. Be safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.